Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Intelligence Mod Pod, a podcast dedicated to teaching you everything that we know about Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. As always, my name is Bobby, and with me I have Dane. And today we are going to be talking about the subclasses brought to us in the 2024 Player Handbook for Clerics. Now, with this, I have quite a bit of experience with clerics, not really as their own class. Usually it's something I dip into because 2014 they were one of the best dips in existence, but now we have to wait for level 3 to get anything from these subclasses. So we're going to dive in and see if it's still worth dipping 3 whole levels into. Dane, have you ever played a cleric before?
I think kind of like what you said, it was more a dip rather than fully exploring the class. Now, I've maybe played some one-shot characters that were level 3 or 4 as a cleric, but never fully dived into a pure cleric build.
I've done one pure cleric, and it was for a very, very, very short time. It was a trickery cleric that was like a goblin, but that's been my pretty much the extent of my full cleric building was like
Mhm.
maybe 5, 6 sessions. So let's just jump right in. For those of you with the player's handbooks, which you should have, we're going to be on page 73 to start these subclasses, starting with the life domain. Soothe the hurts of the world. The life domain focuses on positive energy that helps sustain all life in the multiverse. Clerics who tap into this domain are masters of healing and using the life force to cure many hurts. This is your very generic healer. If you're looking to be a pure healer, this is a great place to start, especially if you're a bit newer to the game and you don't want to get super crazy features that do all kinds of super crazy things. This really gives you a pretty good punch for upgrading your healing spells without adding too much complication to it. And to do so at level 3, we're starting with Disciple of Life, which when you cast a spell with a spell slot that restores hit points to a creature, that creature regains an additional hit points equal to the spell that you cast level plus 2. So at minimum, you're getting 3 additional health points to all of your healing. Pretty decent. Lower levels, this shines. I feel like once you start getting higher levels, it kind of fades into the back. But if you're playing a lower level campaign, I think this is a really, really, really strong feature
Yeah.
for a healer.
And as we say, the best way to heal is to make sure you don't take any damage at all anyway. so,
Hmm.
so let's go into our life domain spells. So these are prepared spells that you get as you level up. So it gives you more options to pick from, so you don't have to feel like you need to choose these spells specifically. So at level 3, we get aid, bless, cure wounds, lesser restoration. So pretty much the core 4 healing spells or health related spells that you would want on a cleric. These are
Hmm.
fantastic ones to grab. Level 5, mass healing word and revivify, already prepared for you.
Mm.
Level 7, aura of life, death ward, also great spells. Level 9, greater restoration, mass cure wounds. You are the healer in your party. All of these are just geared towards that. All great spells to pick from, and because they're automatically prepared for you, you get the option to choose other spells like Spirit Guardian, Spiritual Weapon, things like that.
I feel like the theme of this episode is us just referring to why you should have Spirit Guardian because it makes the cleric the strongest. You could
Exactly.
you could not even be building damage, just get Spirit Guardian and you become a lawnmower to the enemies. You just flew right over. Also at level 3, we're gonna grab Preserve Life. As a magic action, you can present your holy symbol and expend a use of your channel divinity to invoke healing energy that can restore a number of hit points equal to 5 times your cleric level. Choose bloodied creatures within 30 feet of yourself, which can include you, and divide those hit points amongst them. This feature can restore a creature no more than half of its hit points maximum. So, unfortunately for this one, they have to be below 50% health, which is what bloodied means. I think, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think that's stupid. I hate that rule.
Yeah, well, because I think they've added a lot of, or they tried to add a lot of features for like the monsters when they're bloodied, right? Like
Hmm.
a creature is bloodied and it can do this now, or whether
Hmm.
that maybe helps DMs to better flavor their creatures, like that phase 2 of a
Hmm.
creature encounter. Because they're bloodied, this happens.
Hmm.
So that's just them applying it to people.
I still don't like it. Let me heal who I want to heal.
You also get 2 uses of your channel divinity at this level as well. It does
Mhm.
go up as you go to a maximum of 4, but that's at level 18. So you'll get 3 uses of your channel divinity at 6th level. So speaking of
Mhm.
6th level, we pick up Blessed Healer. The healing spells you cast on others heal you as well. Immediately after you cast a spell with a spell slot that restores hit points to 1 or more creatures other than yourself, you regain hit points equal to 2 plus the spell slot's level. So just a nice little extra bit of healing for yourself as well.
I think this is fine. I don't think this is see, when I think about the life domain, I'm like, yeah, it crushes it at healing. And then when you look, I look at it, I feel like it's just a little better. I don't think it's like significantly better until you get to level 17, where you get supreme healing. When you would normally roll 1 or more die to restore hit points to a creature with a spell or channel divinity, don't roll those dice for the healing. Instead, use the highest number possible for each roll. For example, if you're restoring 2d6 hit points to a creature with a spell, you restore 12. This is both amazing and heartbreaking all at the same time because we all know we come to Dungeons and Dragons to throw math rocks and hear the clinkety clanks. But you're also just divvying out maximum healing every single time you heal, if you can survive up to level 17,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is probably one of the strongest capstone features I've ever seen on a D&D class. I think it's really great. Because it's not like once per turn, it's not one die of the roll, it's every die. If you are healing, it is maximum.
Now, my question about this one, because it
Hmm.
mentions hit points to a creature with a spell or channel divinity. Now,
Hmm.
with the preserve life channel divinity, it doesn't have dice to roll.
Hmm.
It's just a number of hit points equal to 5 times your cleric level.
Yeah.
So this
So the
doesn't
reason they
apply?
do that, the reason they do that is as a cleric, you get just straight out at the level 2, you get Divine Spark. And with that, you roll a number of d8s plus your wisdom modifier, and you can divvy those healing out. So it's a little bit less, but it
Mm.
is a number. So if you're choosing to use that instead of Preserve Life, you will just get maximum.
Flavor wise,
Hmm.
I don't. I feel like you're kind of pigeonholed into a certain role.
I mean, for a role, but I feel like flavor, when it comes to being a healer, you can flavor it as just about anything. You
Yeah,
know, you could flavor this realistically into a nature healer if you wanted to. This could be someone using cosmic energy from the stars to heal. That, like, you can flavor this any way you want.
yeah,
And I think that's the cool thing about playing a life cleric is realistically life is everywhere. Life is everything.
right.
So you could literally do anything with it.
And we do have to acknowledge that, as opposed to the paladins, which their magical powers come from their oath, the clerics are essentially serving a deity of some kind.
Hmm.
So a lot of the flavor for the cleric is going to tie into the deity that you choose to believe in.
Hmm.
So, I have a hard time thinking of exactly which deity that would be because there's a lot of them out there. I think the flavor wise for my person would just kind of be a nomadic traveler who heals the less fortunate along the way. Just as a very cookie cutter kind of cleric who also has spirit guardians and can mow down people if they get too close.
Yes. I mean, I'm with you. I would definitely go with like, honestly, I feel like anyone who's watched me play knows that I like one of two characters. I like a arrogant asshole, or I like a naive goody goody two shoe. So I feel like I would probably go with a very naive acolyte who just has a very strong focus on healing. Obviously, I would probably take Spirit Guardian also because why wouldn't you? But I think this one is very much just pick a god and roll with the flavor because you can do pretty much anything.
Yeah.
So what did you roll for this one? What is your ranking?
I think this cleric is like you don't really get the power behind it really until level 17, right? Like
Mhm.
you do get that big boost to healing when a creature is bloodied. But outside of that, even the Disciple of Life feature only adds a
Mhm.
couple extra hit points. And as we know, a lot of the time when healing takes place, it is to get someone up who has been knocked down, or maybe topping somebody up. And in most of these scenarios, if you revive someone, even if you rolled maximum on a healing word or something like that, maybe they're getting like 10 hit points or something like that, and then they get multi-attacked and they're right back down. So there's challenges to playing a healer, and we've talked about this in length at times. The best way to heal is to make sure you don't take damage by killing the other people. I still think this is good because it's a cleric. It's going to be good kind of regardless. But I'm probably just going to put it at like a 13. Like it's just kind of middle of the pack, I would say. Could possibly be convinced of going 14. It,
I am
I would
shocked because I
why?
also gave it a 13.
Oh,
I thought I was gonna be highly controversial with that choice.
no, not at all.
Not because I don't love it. I really think if you're a new player, this is a great place to start. I feel like it's really easy to get into. I think the story is easy to get into with this kind of character,
Hmm.
and it's not gonna steer you wrong. There is never gonna be a campaign where this isn't useful. It's just it feels very like the difference when you're playing like a video game, and you pick like the easy mode character versus the ones with the harder mechanics. This feels like the easy character that you're going to do really well with at the beginning, but if you would have taken this one, you might do more because you have more at your disposal.
Yeah, and the other part of talking about these subclasses is also not forgetting what we get with the base cleric class. Some of the features that you get with the base cleric class, kind of like you mentioned, the divine spark of a channel divinity, but you also get things like blessed strikes at level 7, and at level 14 you get improved blessed strikes, and those are really just affecting your damage for the most part. Potent spellcasting at level 7, you add your wisdom modifier to the damage you deal with any cleric cantrip. There's no benefit to the healing that you do. I think with a lot of these other subclasses for the cleric, they're going to take advantage of those cleric base features as opposed to
Mhm.
the life cleric. Going down to the next one, probably at least in 2014 was almost number one for everybody, the light domain. Well,
Mm-mm.
a lot of people liked light domain where it did a lot of
They
damage.
liked it, but you cannot sit on the Twilight
Oh yeah.
and Peace. Twilight and Peace
Yes.
reign supreme.
Yes. I forgot about those ones. They
Bring
get
me my
banned.
Peace domain back.
The Twilight gets banned so fast that I forgot about it.
So fast.
But the light domain cleric bring light to banish the darkness. The light domain emphasizes the divine power to bring about blazing fire and revelation. Clerics who wield this power are enlightened souls infused with radiance and the power of their deity's discerning vision, charged with chasing away lies and burning away darkness. Oh, sounds epic.
Have you ever actually played a light domain cleric?
Outside of Baldur's Gate 3? No.
Ooh. I did. So I played another cleric that I played that was heavily cleric. It was we did a villain campaign, right? Where the whole
Oh,
campaign we were villains. And I was a cleric of Kasuth, who is the elemental god of fire. And so think very like Melisandre from Game of Thrones.
okay.
I designed her to be very like that friend that you hang out with and you're like really cool, and then out of nowhere you're in a cult and you're like, how did this happen? That was her. She was like the one who would trick people into joining the cult. And I had so much fun with the light domain. It truly is a blessing. And speaking of blessings, when you start at level 3, you are going to be blessed with some lovely light domain spells that you always have prepare. At level 3, you're grabbing Burning Hands, Fairy Fire, Scorching Ray, and See Invisible. Excellent, great damage dealing and utility all in one. Level 5, we get Daylight and Fireball, which is the main reason to take this, I think, is
Yeah.
just so you can be a cleric with Fireball. Level 7, we're grabbing Arcane Eye and Wall of Fire. And then at level 9, we're going to grab Flame Strike and Scrying. All of these are great spells. I don't think there's a single spell on here that I don't like or I don't use, except for maybe See Invisible, I think is the only one.
Yeah, probably.
Super niche, but I mean, if you need it, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. But at level 3, we get 2 features in addition to all of our spells. So at level 3, Radiance of the Dawn. As a magic action, you present your holy symbol and expend a use of your channeled divinity to emit a flash of light in a 30-foot emanation originating from yourself. Any magical darkness, such as those created by the darkness spell in that area, is dispelled. Additionally, each creature of your choice in that area must make a Constitution saving throw, taking radiant damage equal to 2d10 plus your cleric level on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. So I think this just kind of eliminates the need for daylight, because daylight, I think, daylight takes out darkness. I'm pretty sure it's a higher level spell. I think it takes it out, I believe, or you can see through it with daylight. I'm almost certain of it. But
I don't think it does. Oh yeah, it overlaps with any darkness of level 3 or lower. It's dispelled.
Yeah.
So as long as it's not like, as long as your DM isn't upcasting darkness, which if they are, you need to have a talk with them.
9th level darkness.
Just for you, Cleric. I think this is such a good channel divinity because it has utility and it does a respectable amount of damage. I mean, 2d10 is nothing to scoff at.
In a 30-foot emanation, you could hit multiple enemies with this if you're fighting like a horde or something like that.
Also, at level 3, we're going to grab Warding Flare. When a creature you can see within 30 feet of you makes an attack roll, you can take a reaction to impose disadvantage on the attack roll, causing a light flare before it hits or misses. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your Wisdom modifier, minimum of once. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. I love this one because Light Domain is often seen as like pure offense. This is the Blaster Cleric, right? But we get a little bit of defense too. We can help out ourselves from getting hit. We can keep our tanks from getting hit by imposing disadvantage. I think this is excellent.
Yeah, because this, it mentions it's an attack roll. So spell attack, ranged weapon attack, melee weapon attack, anything you're rolling that d20 to hit with gives them that disadvantage. And equal to the number of your wisdom modifier per long rest, as a cleric, you're going to be bumping that wisdom pretty high. You just want to be careful about how frequently you probably use this. That's all.
I feel the opposite.
Oh.
I don't think clerics have many use for their reaction. As a cleric, what are you using it for? Your, low strength mace attack? No, we're not doing anything with it. Use this every time someone's getting attacked. Like, pick one person and that is your flare ward.
Yeah.
You are going to protect. I say use this every single time you can. Because what else are you doing with a reaction as a cleric?
Yeah, max it out. Fair enough. You've convinced me. And at level...
Oh, wait a minute. No, you only get to use it equal to your wisdom modifier.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Use it up to that wisdom modifier and then it's gone.
Yeah,
burn
so
it.
You get like 3 or 4 uses probably at level 3. Probably at level 3, you probably get like at least 2 to 3 uses, depending on how you build your character. But if you're going light cleric, you'll probably go heavy wisdom. Level 6, improved warding flare. You regain all expended uses of your warding flare when you finish a short or long rest. Why not? And then, in addition, whenever you use warding flare, you can give the target of the triggering attack a number of temporary hit points equal to 2d6 plus your wisdom modifier. Oh, my God.
Yes. So we've discussed, as much as I love healing, right? It is not very economical in Dungeons and Dragons, but temporary hit points, that's what's economical. Keeping people from taking damage. This, I adore this. And we get it back at a short rest.
And at this point, you definitely are sitting either at a 3 or a 4 for your wisdom.
Possible 5.
Potential 5, depending on how you're playing, what rules you use and all that. But yeah, 5 uses, so like potentially 10 per adventuring day, if not more.
10 to 15, yeah, because you could take 2. I think you can take 2. I adore this. But then at level 17, because we have to have that huge jump, we get the Corona of Light. As a magic action, you cause yourself to emit an aura of sunlight that lasts for 1 minute or until you dismiss it. No action required. You emit bright light in a 60-foot radius and dim light for an additional 30. Your enemies in the bright light have disadvantage on saving throws against your Radiant Dawn and any spells that deal fire or radiant damage, which means Fireball, they have disadvantage on that. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your Wisdom modifier, minimum of once, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. What do you think of this one?
So 60-foot radius. Is
Mm-hmm.
that, and that's an emanation?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Bright light. So within 60 feet of you, they have disadvantage on pretty much all your stuff. I think that's pretty great.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good. It might, depending on what you're.
No. It's important to see that saving throw against your Radiant Dawn specifically, or any spell that deals fire and radiant damage. So if you're
Yeah.
using like Fairy Fire or trying to do something like that, that's not going to give them disadvantage.
Yeah, but like you said, a fireball, my spirit guardians that do radiant damage is just
Mm-hmm.
walk right in. So you,
Oh,
yeah, and you
yeah.
automatically have disadvantage on saving throws against it. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think it's a great feature. You do have to use a magic action for it. So, you can't really do much on the same turn per se, aside from like bonus action things, because it's not a spell slot, so you can still use a bonus action that has a spell to it. It's a great setup feature for the next rounds, that's for sure.
I want to be honest. I don't like this.
No?
I think this is severely weaker than the Life Cleric capstone. I feel like this should have been like a 6th level feature, if I'm being completely honest. Because it doesn't do damage itself, all it does is give disadvantage. So they could still pass all of
Yeah.
the things you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, you're just becoming a Nightlight
Yeah,
for
yeah,
a level
yeah.
17 feature.
Yeah,
I don't like this. I think this is its weakest feature, honestly.
yeah, I mean, looking at the other ones, for sure, a lot weaker. Yeah.
So I have already talked about my flavor for a light domain cleric as a worshiper of Kasuth. How would you flavor a light domain cleric?
All right, I have the idea, and this would have to be like talked about with the DM,
Hmm.
but I, for some reason, I want to play this character as like a holy, holy type person, blah blah blah. Of course, we're clerics, but I want them to actually be like blind, because they've like seen the light and it's like blinded them, but now they have like, so it's not like blind sight per se, but you got like the daredevil kind of like vision where you can kind of see like people's outlines and stuff like that. So you would
Uh-huh.
you would treat it like normal, and maybe you still get affected by things that could blind you and stuff like that. I just, so it's not like completely overpowered, this is just more for flavor, so that way you can just cast all of these spells that are bright lights and fiery radiant bright spells, and like you're unaffected by them but your enemies are.
I love that. I think as a DM, what I would do to caveat that is essentially, I think it would be fun if your character could, since they've seen the light, if they could only see what was in light. That way in darkness they're still kind of blinded and they have to then bring the light for them to see, bring their god's essence essentially,
Okay.
to be able to see. I think that would be a really cool character, and now I hope some of my players are listening and someone brings this to me because I want to run it.
Yeah.
This sounds so much fun as
Yeah.
a DM. I think I made you go first on what you rolled last time, so I'll go first this
Yeah.
time, and say that I'm giving this a solid 16. Because despite the 17 not being that great, how often do we get to level 17 first off? And
Yeah.
every other feature it has, I think, is stronger than everything, including the level 17 that life brought us. I think everything is really efficient, everything works really well, and I think it's a really, really good subclass.
Yeah. I agree. Now, question I have for you, really quick. For things like your magic initiate feat, right?
Mhm.
Do those get classified as a cleric cantrip if I pick it up? Or is it still
Yes.
okay?
I believe it states that it counts as your class. I would have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure it does.
Okay. Because once again, I'm because the base cleric also has like certain features along the way. Like I discussed, like the blessed strikes as an example. Potent spell casting could work with this, except I wouldn't just want it to have to be Sacred Flame for my cantrip. Like I would want to pick
Mhm.
up like Firebolt or something like that, just to add my wisdom modifier to the damage of it. To give my roll for this one, I'm just gonna go a little bit above you, 17.
17? All
Yeah,
right.
like you said, it's all great right up until level 17. Like if you went up to level 6 with this character and stopped, you'd be a happy camper. Like you'd be,
Mhm.
this is great. I'm having a great old time with this character because I got Fireball.
We are going to move right on into Trickery Domain. Make mischief and challenge authority. The Trickery Domain offers magic of deception, illusion, and stealth. Clerics who wield the magic of deceptive forces in the world punctuate pride, mock tyrants, freeing captives, and flout hollow traditions. If you have a group of sneaky people and you just really want to play cleric, this is for you, because at level 3 we're getting Blessing of the Trickster. As a magic action, you can choose yourself or a willing creature within 30 feet of yourself to have advantage on dexterity stealth checks. This blessing lasts until you finish a long rest or use this feature again. I feel like this is an upgrade. I feel like in 2014 you could not use this on yourself. It was
Oh,
only for other people.
okay. Well, hey, you're finally looking out for those poor clerics that never got anything.
Right.
And this doesn't have any kind of limits or anything like, oh, the blessing lasts until you finish a long rest, but
Mm-hmm.
can you but you can cast it again multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Unlimited uses of it.
So it would seem. It does not give us any indication that there is a limit. So I guess, as we learned in Mean Girls, the limit does not exist.
We also get at level 3 Invoke Duplicity. As a bonus action, you can expend one of your channel divinity to create a perfect visual illusion of yourself in an unoccupied space you can see within 30 feet of yourself. The illusion is intangible and doesn't occupy its space. It lasts for 1 minute, but it ends early if you dismiss it. No action required. Or you have the incapacitated condition. The illusion is animated and mimics your expressions and gestures. While it persists, you gain the following benefits. You can cast spells as though you are in the illusion's space, but you must use your own senses. Distract. When both you and your illusion are within 5 feet of a creature that can see the illusion, you have advantage on attack rolls against that creature, given how distracting the illusion is to the target. And then, as a bonus action, you can move the illusion up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space that you can see that is within 120 feet of yourself. There's a lot of stuff that this thing can do. And
Hmm.
Bobby, tell me your experience with using Invoke Duplicity.
I adore Invoke Duplicity so much. If you play Baldur's Gate 3, do not judge this subclass based on that, because this is all about creativity. This is about breaking rules, essentially, and tricking people. I have used this so much as, I mean, I think anyone who's watched me play D&D knows that I use familiars and other summons as, like, access points to be able to cast spells from different places, right? I create a network that I can then act in multiple different places with, and that's what this is going to give you. Especially if you have a rogue on your group, because this right here is going to really help your rogue out when it comes to what is it, sneak attack? Or actually, I don't know if it does sneak attack anymore. I know in 2014 it used to, but
I
as
think
I'm reading through it
it's
right in
just
front of me, I
you.
don't think it helps anymore.
It's just
So I
for
don't think it counts
yourself.
as an ally.
Yeah, it's just for yourself. When both
Hmm.
you and your illusion
Just
are
kidding,
within five
rogues.
feet, you have advantage on attack rolls. So not for your
Lovely. So,
companions.
that part's not that great, but I mean, you can use this to cast spells as if you were in that space, which realistically could give you a lot more range.
Yeah. I
So, I
will
mean, I like it. I like it in social situations, probably the most, though,
yeah,
I would have
cuz
to say.
like one example I was thinking of is comparing it to Find Familiar. And with Find Familiar, you can see through your familiar's senses, essentially. Like you can see through their eyes. Whereas this one, you must use your own senses. So if you were to cast Invoke Duplicity and want to use Misty Step as an example, you can't use what the illusion is looking at. You have to use what you yourself as the player is looking at.
Hmm.
So that's like a kind of difference when it says using your own senses, just as an example.
Yeah. Also at level 3, though, we are getting some Trickery Domain spells that are always prepared. Level 3, we grab Charm Person, Disguise Self, Invisibility, and Pass Without Trace. Everyone who's seen me play knows I love Pass Without Trace.
Yeah.
Excellent spell list. Level 5, we get Hypnotic Pattern and Non-Detection. Hypnotic Pattern is so powerful, people.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Level 7, Confusion and Dimension Door. Also amazing spells. And then at level 9, Dominate Person and Modify Memory. These, I almost want to say this might be the most powerhouse spell list of the group in like a more controlled sense. Maybe not damage, but in control, this is the powerhouse. Because we're getting Disguise Self, Invisibility, and Pass Without Trace all at once. Hypnotic Pattern, Confusion, Dimension Door, Dominate Person, Modify Memory. All of these things are extremely powerful spells that if you can get smart and really learn when to use them, can be complete game changers, each and every one of them.
Now, in your opinion, with these spells and just the current level 3 features that we have, I almost feel like this Trickery Cleric may be a challenge for newer players just
Mhm.
because of its reliance on that creativity. Now, some players are great, and especially new players are really great at thinking outside the box, but I feel like this subclass does have some pretty like detailed, stringent things about it that
Mhm.
kind of can limit things a little bit. Some of the spells, like you said, are more so based on like social interactions, which some newer players might
Mhm.
struggle with a little bit. But absolutely go for it if this is your first class and you want to try this out. I think you really got to kind of lean into the role play aspect of this
Mhm.
particular cleric.
Yeah, and I would highly recommend having a rogue or another stealth-based character with you because you're gonna run into situations. I know the thing I used Invoke Duplicity probably the most for is when we were doing like heist or trying to sneak in. I would use my Invoke Duplicity to create like a clone of myself so that they would see me at an event or whatnot, and then cast invisibility on myself and sneak around so that there was proof that I was there while clearly I wasn't. So it's all about misdirect. It's all about, tricking people, which is a good name for trickery.
And speaking of trickery, at level 6, we get Trickster's Transposition. Whenever you take the bonus action to create or move the illusion of your Invoke Duplicity, you can teleport, swapping places with the illusion. So now with this one, now you can switch physical locations with the illusion.
So with that, something I want to talk about is that you can move, say there's like a really high up place, you can move your illusion 120 feet of anywhere you can see and then switch places with it.
Yeah,
Because the illusion doesn't have to walk on ground. It's an illusion, it's not real. You can just poof it right up 120 feet and then swap, and
yeah.
you're good to go.
So it's like a extra beneficial Misty Step. Like you can go even further.
At level 17, we're getting improved to duplicity. And with that, you're going to get shared distraction. When you and your allies make attack rolls with a creature within 5 feet of the illusion, the attack rolls have advantage. So now we can help our rogue, now that we're
Yeah.
level 17. And we also get healing illusion. When the illusion ends, you or a creature you can choose within 5 feet of it regains a number of hit points equal to your cleric level. I think that one feels a little out of place, I'm not going to lie, but I don't hate that it's there.
Yeah, I mean that's 17 hit points for free,
Just
basically.
because your illusion ends.
Yeah. So was the shared distraction, was that built into it in 2014, like the base invoke duplicity? Is that why you were getting
Um,
like advantage before?
Let me look.
Or were you just cheating the whole time?
I don't know. I must have been cheating.
While Bobby looks that up, in terms of flavor, clearly this domain is built towards some kind of deception and trickery, so to speak. I think you could play a pretty. I'd be interested to see the deities that are tied to this one. I think that would maybe influence me a little bit, but I would try to play this as a very a con man religious type, where you're pulling tricks on people. You are maybe gathering people that are like-minded like you, that want to swindle people. And I don't want to put any sort of religious things on blast in our current world, but some churches make a lot of money. Let's just put it that way.
That's fact. Yeah, I know when I played one, the way I flavored it was a goblin who was under the assumption they were cursed to be a goblin. They thought they were just a like 9-year-old girl. And so they were like super obedient to these gods because they were hoping to regain their humanity. But as it turns out, I was just cheating the whole time and getting my rogue advantage. But upon looking at this, the old improved duplicity was really cool. You used to create 4 of them.
Oh, nice.
But now we can share the distraction, so I guess that's not as good, but still fun. So when it comes to this one's role, I feel like I really like this one. I feel like this is such a fun subclass if you have the creativity to pull it off. And that's why I'm going to give it a 17.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. This class is pretty role play specific. If you're in a campaign that is not combat heavy, this subclass is going to shine really, really well. But keep in mind, you can also get Spirit Guardians at any time. So you always have that
And
option.
and you can throw your duplicity into the middle of them and then cast the spell through that. So you can place your lawnmower without actually having to go into the fray.
Amazing. So I really like this. I really do. I'm gonna give it a 16 because it's a really great class. I really like it. It seems to be like the capstones fall apart a little bit for the cleric outside of the life domain.
Unless you're
Cleric.
live.
Yeah, unless your life. The teleportation is great. However, it requires you to have the duplicate out there for it to have any kind of benefit. And of course, with the channel divinity, we get 2 of them. Do we get one back on a short rest? Is it kind of the same?
Yes, we
Okay.
do. Once we hit like level 4 or 5, I think.
Okay. Yeah. So, we'll be able to take pretty good use of it, switching back and forth. And you can just keep doing this on the battlefield too. Like just flop, flip, 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 flop, flip, flop, or moving your person, your duplicate around. So you could get a lot of benefit from it. But I think a 16 is a good solid score for it.
And see, also, since we brought up the Spirit Guardian on the duplicate, your duplicate has 120 movement speed. So nothing is outrunning your lawnmower of Holy Light or Necrotic.
Yeah. And
Nothing.
it is a bonus action. So you can just move them. That's funny.
God, that's so awful. I can't wait as a DM to have a NPC do this to my players. I cannot wait. I have written it down. I'm like, hey, do this to my Wednesday morning group.
It is in the rules. It is totally doable. And now for our final 2024 subclass for the clerics, the War Domain. Inspire valor and smite foes. War has many manifestations. It can make heroes of ordinary people. It can be desperate and horrific, with acts of cruelty and cowardice eclipsing instances of excellence and courage. Clerics who tap into the magic of the War Domain excel in battle, inspiring others to fight the good fight or offering acts of violence as prayers. Ooh. So evil. I don't know. That doesn't sound evil.
Edgy.
So edgy, yes.
So evil.
So evil and edgy. At level 3, we get Guided Strike. When you or a creature within 30 feet of you misses with an attack roll, you can you can expend 1 use of your channel divinity and give that roll a +10. potentially causing it to hit. When you use this feature to benefit another creature's attack roll, you must take a reaction to do so. So you can give this to yourself or comrade of yours.
I think a whole channel divinity for a one hit, I think is one of the weaker channel divinities we've seen. Unless, of course, you have another paladin who is ready to go Nova with their highest level smite.
Yeah. And this
I
is
guess.
but it's only if they are to miss, right? So
Mhm.
it's only if they miss the attack, you have the option to do so. However, it doesn't say that it's a reaction for when you use it. Yeah,
So if you use it for yourself,
it
it's
doesn't
free.
cost.
Or
Yeah,
not, it's just divinity, yeah.
yeah, it doesn't use an action or bonus action. But if you're using it for a party member, it is a reaction.
Also, we get some domain spells with the War Domain. Starting at level 3, we're going to snag Guiding Bolt, Magic Weapon, Shield of Faith, and Spiritual Weapon. All good items. Level 5, Crusader's Mantle and Spirit Guardians. There it is. Level 7, we're gaining Fire Shield and Freedom of Movement. And at level 9, Hold Monster and Steel Wind Strike. I don't want to say this is the best spell list just because Spirit Guardians is on it, because we're going to get that anyway.
Yeah,
I think this is an okay spell list,
yeah.
honestly.
All of these are spells that I would choose if they were not already prepared for me. So
Mm-hmm.
the other classes give you all of those other spells, and then I would probably pick these ones anyways. So
Mm-hmm. I feel like the only one that's new to Cleric is Magic Weapon
yeah, and
and Freedom
once
of
again,
Movement, maybe? But
yeah, like magic weapon, like I said before in the other videos, you're more than likely going to get like a +1 weapon pretty easily, and that's a magic weapon for the sake of bypassing resistances and stuff like that. So you kind of already get that. But things like, guiding bolt, I would pick that up pretty much on any cleric for the most part. Spiritual weapon for sure. Spirit guardians, absolutely. But all those other ones that we want, bless, healing word, cure wounds, all that kind of stuff. And also at level 3, we get the War Priest feature. As a bonus action, you can make one attack with a weapon or unarmed strike. You can use this bonus action a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. You regain all expended uses when you finish a short or long rest. So extra attack, essentially,
mm-hmm.
outside of,
Kind of, as a
yeah.
bonus action.
Now, I'd be interested to see how this would pair with two weapon fighting or like dual wielding with
It
like
just
the,
wouldn't work.
because you don't get,
I
I don't
mean,
think you get
if you had
fighting
the
styles. You don't get fighting styles with
yeah,
a cleric.
mm-mm.
So you just
And you
get
don't get weapon mastery, so no.
mace attack, hiya, and bonus action, extra mace attack, hiya.
Yeah, if you want to cross class this with fighter, just to, I mean, even then it feels pointless because 2 more levels you get extra attack anyway.
Yeah, but it's once again at level 7 you get the blessed strikes, which when you
Mm-hmm.
hit a creature with an attack roll, you can cause it to take an extra D8 necrotic or radiant damage. So that's like
Mm-hmm.
essentially an extra attack, kind of like added onto it, a D8's worth.
Yeah.
So an extra hit, yay, I'll take it, sure. But it's a
Woo!
bonus action, so keep that in
Of
mind.
course. At level 6, though, we're going to get War God's Blessing. You can expend a use of your channel divinity to cast Shield of Faith or Spiritual Weapon, rather than expending a spell slot. When you cast either spell this way, the spell doesn't require concentration. Instead, the spell lasts 1 minute, but ends early if you cast that spell again, or have the incapacitated condition, or die. I just think this is okay. I mean,
Now,
Spiritual Weapon without concentration, sure, but for a channel divinity...
so for the channel divinity, we have the +10 to a missed attack. Or
Mm-hmm.
we have the divine spark or turn undead. Those are like our 3
Mm-hmm.
options we have with this subclass. Shield of Faith without concentration, +2 to
Meh.
AC, meh, it's okay. Spiritual
Meh.
weapons without concentration, that's probably the one I would use more than
Mm-hmm.
anything else without expending a spell slot. So you can then cast a leveled spell
Like Spirit Guardians.
Hey, level 6. Yeah, yeah, it's exactly right.
I would give up both of these for Spirit Guardians without concentration. That would have
Yeah,
been a great
yeah.
feature.
But it's it's
Choice.
allowing you to be able to still cast another spell during that turn that you
Mhm.
use it. So it's not terrible. It's not terrible. Definitely not as potent as other things will be. And then
Mhm.
the final one, Avatar of Battle. You gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing damage.
Meh,
Yay. A
meh.
built-in rage with just the resistance.
I feel like at this point, at level 17, most things are using magical weapons also.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Now, here's a question for you. Here's a question. Like
Mhm.
if a creature, let's say a hag, we'll use a hag. Yeah,
Mhm.
I know you love your hags. So,
I
if
do.
if it is a hag and she just claws at you, that's not like magic, right? Just claw.
Let me
She got
double check.
she got magic fingernails.
No, that would be fine. You would have depending on the hag, yeah, you would have resistance to that.
Okay.
But again, how often are hags just gonna claw you?
Yeah, I know.
And I
I
mean,
just
most hags, like if you look like a green hag, they do slashing and poison damage per hit. So
yeah,
it's like you would get half of its damage you would get reduced, but then the other half of its damage you're not.
yeah.
So most hags, their claws do multiple forms of damage.
So once again,
I'm not gonna lie. I
the
think this is a letdown.
the level 17 once again but of an ability. So how would you flavor this though? What would be your flavor for this war
I
priest?
I would be a so okay, picture with me for a moment, yes? You know the kind of vibe that from like the Avatar movies, like the Na'vi. You know
Yeah.
how they have the one kind of spiritual member of the war clans? That's kind of where I would probably go with this. She's far more spiritual, but can still throw hands.
Yeah.
Is probably what I would go with.
Yeah. I'm kind of on the same vein as you. Like I think I would play this character as like a almost like a standard bearer, like someone that is like bringing in the flag of their deity like behind the front lines of the army and just granting them the ability to hit. Like I would use the guided strike more so for
Mhm.
my fighter or my barbarian or my paladin rather than use it on myself. I would still probably be decked out in heavy armor and stuff like that if the class gets it, which I think they
Mhm.
might. But with all the other things, and then just like throw a spiritual weapon out there, throw a
Mhm.
crusader's mantle on somebody else. Like I wouldn't play this character being up front. The bonus action making an extra attack, I don't think I would get much use out of that, to be quite frank.
Okay, hold on, hold on, hold on. As I'm looking at this, it's come to my attention it does not say melee attack. You could use a bow with this, and I would totally
Hmm.
be happy doing that. I think that would, like you were saying, staying back a bit would definitely bump this a little bit stronger in my book because I know we've been focusing on like these mace attacks, but you could totally just do a dex based damage type, wisdom and dex, and do this with a bow. No?
And the blessed strikes apply for ranged as well because it's just hit a creature with an attack roll using a weapon.
Oh no, I have to reassess my rating. Because I had already given this a roll, and now I feel like it's slightly better than I thought, but only in such a niche situation if you go like with a bow.
Yeah, because I think
Oh.
what you would end up doing is true strike everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
that would be your main way to deal damage, so you can actually
Mm-hmm.
hit stuff. So that way you don't have to worry about dexterity at all, because you want heavy armor. If they get heavy armor, I'm assuming they might.
Heavy armor is no longer tied to subclass. Whenever you go through the actual cleric thing, you get a divine order. You either go protector or thaumaturge, and so you
Oh,
either
okay.
get heavy armor and martial weapons or an extra cantrip.
Yeah, so I would do that. I would probably go protector, probably, so I can get crossbow and heavy armor, and then I don't have to worry about my dexterity. Just kind of get my strength up to 13 or 15, whatever it takes to get the best armor, and then dump it all into wisdom and just start blasting with crossbows.
Yeah, I would just go dex based with wisdom and dex because I would want that bow to hit hard.
A true strike bases
But
it off of your spell casting.
but if you use True Strike, you don't get to use True Strike for your War Priest second attack
Oh, true.
because that's a magic action.
True.
So then if you don't do dex, you're losing your War Priest essentially, and you're just at the mercy of the roll.
So then would you stick with Thaumaturge then?
I don't think so. Only I don't know. I
Well, I
would have
think
to
you-
really build this because
I think you
I don't think I
need-
would use heavy.
Is a crossbow martial? That's the question.
I would use a longbow most likely, which is martial.
Okay, I think like
But I mean, you could use a
light
short bow
crossbow.
and be fine.
Yeah, I think a light crossbow is simple. I think I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, I would have to really sit down and build this. I think light is also.
This conversation is making me. Yeah, it's a simple 1d8 for the. It's just a light crossbow,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get the heavy crossbow.
Yeah, so you don't need it. So yeah, I'd probably go thaumaturge and just do like light crossbow or. Because I've also run into the fact that a lot of DMs will let you flavor things different. I just use the stats of a light crossbow and you couldn't do that because it has the loading quality. You would have to take crossbow master.
Ah.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, then you just get a hand crossbow and shield.
But you could use a short bow. So 1d6.
And a hand
I would probably
crossbow
go
is
with
a
short
d6
bow,
anyways.
probably.
Yeah, I might.
Excellent.
I maybe would do. I would consider if I'm building it a little bit more with the crossbow in mind. I would maybe consider picking that up if I get a +1 to my dex or something like that. Round it up to a 3. I start with like a 15 in point buy for dexterity, something like that.
So what are you rolling this one at?
Oh god, no! I just reconsidered everything. But no, the
I gave it 1 additional point to what I originally gave it.
Honestly, I think I will give this probably like a 12.
Wow.
Because
I also gave it 12.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, like the 6th and the 17th level features are okay. The Avatar of Battle is not doing anything for me. I'm not like, I can't wait to get to level 17 for this. There's zero drive for me to want to get to level 17 with this subclass. I would much rather just get me into a different multi-class of some kind rather than continue pursuing this one.
Yeah.
Even like level 6 too, like I feel the same way.
I don't think I would ever pick this subclass like on my own. If I was doing something where it's like, hey guys, let's all be war cleric, or you know what I mean, or it was like a theme, I would do it. But I would never pick this for myself. I don't think it's nearly as strong as any of the other ones, and I feel like since we don't need it to get heavy armor, we could take any of the other ones and do just as good.
Yeah. Looking at this, comparing it with the base, I would probably get to level 7 just so I can get those divine strikes, the blessed strikes, to add a little bit more damage. But outside of that, you're not getting extra attack, you're not getting anything like that. So,
So overall, my rating comes to Trickery at number 1 with a 17, Light with a 16, Life with a 13 in third, and then in last place I gave War with a 12 because I feel like it lags significantly behind everyone else.
Yeah, I think people are going to see that +10 and be like, "What? You're crazy. You're going to give that up?" But
for one attack
for one of your people, right? And it's a reaction, so it can only be used on one attack. And I'm probably not going to be the main damage dealer, especially with like ranged attacks or anything like that. That's not where the damage is going to come from with this subclass. It's going to come from spiritual weapons, spirit guardians, whatever else you can get.
I would like to point out really quick on that line, if I'm going to play a melee, I would just pick light because almost everything you do is an emanation. Just get your protector, you have your heavy armor, you have your martial weapons. Get in there with your light and just blind the shit out of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And in that respect, my rankings is light at number 1 with 17 and trickery at 16. So like we just swapped those two
Hmm.
between us. But life at 13 and then the war domain at 12. So we got the same two at the bottom. And
Hmm.
we just flipped our top ones there. And honestly, I really think it just does depend on the type of campaign that you're in. Like if
Hmm.
I'm playing a little bit more of a combat heavy campaign, light all the way. But if it was one that they said, it's not going to be combat all the time, it's like maybe 25%, and then like the other 75% is role play, I would probably be lean more into the trickery for that.
Hmm. And I think it also just it comes down to what you want in a character. You know, when you go into it, this is our ratings are purely for like if you are like min-maxing,
Yeah.
this is probably the better of the options. But life and war are still fun to play. And I mean, I think a lot of our ratings also come from how we play as people. You know, I tend to use a lot more like complex navigation of combat. I mean, you see, I play with 4 characters every single time we do combat. So for me, that the trickery aligns with, you know, how I as a person play. And so for me, I feel like I get more bang for my buck out of it because it's something I'm used to versus the light, which I feel like is easier to do more with. But I feel like if you get good with the trickery, you're gonna get a little bit more out of it, personally, I think, even in combat.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that for sure. And, kind of like you said, in terms of my experience with it, of like wanting to do combat a little bit more, having the ability to just disadvantage everywhere, boop, 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 boop. And even if you play Baldur's Gate 3, you'll see how often that like warding flare comes up in comp. It's like literally every second of the day. Oh, you want to use
Every
this? Oh, you
second.
want to use this? You want to use it? And that's how it is it would be in the game. It's like you get like 3-4 uses of it, resets on a short rest, you do it again, and like no one's getting hit. You're in there with heavy
Mhm.
armor, just going at it. Like I feel like this could be like a decent frontline tank as a light
Yeah.
cleric with the heavy weapons and stuff like that. We have our different play styles, and so do you out
Mhm.
there. So play
Yeah.
the class you want to play. Don't let us influence you one way or the other. These are just our opinions on the matter.
So with that, we will say goodbye, and I hope that all of your intelligence checks are successful in the future. Until next time, see you later.